there's Nord Stream 1, Nord Stream 2. Both are essentially pipelines.
Pipelines underground, underwater.
Yeah, underwater. They go right from Russia to Germany.
Right.
The only difference between 1 and 2 is they just kind of service different locations in Russia before they get to Germany.
Right.
So they come from different areas.
Yeah.
But they kind of run parallel to each other.
Yeah, they split off once they get near Russia.
Yeah. Exactly. So, so those apparently leaked, and that's created this issue. And then we have this from CBC. It says Denmark says damage to Nord Stream pipeline in Baltic Sea was deliberate. This was not an earthquake, says seismologist after dual blasts. And so people are wondering who is behind this. Did Russia do a false flag because they're losing the war,
right?
And they're trying to rally troops as they conscript people, conscript their homies? Is this them, or is this a different actor? Because honestly, what happens here, you know? And so people are asking these questions because if with these blowing up, what's been happening is Russia holds all the bargaining chips. It's like, hey, you stop supporting Ukraine, we'll turn the energy back on. You guys won't freeze in the winter.
Yeah.
Now with these things blowing up, Russia doesn't have their bargaining chip anymore. So now Germany's forced to continue to back Ukraine in this war, no matter what. They have no allegiance to Russia now. So everyone's wondering what happened. And then people were like, oh my gosh, do you remember what Joe Biden said back in February? So if you pull up that link.
The internet is quick, man.
Yeah. It's from 0 to 32.
If Russia invades, that means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
How will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will. I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
He's hard to listen to.
He's really hard.
He's like a patient.
Yeah,
like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Regardless, interesting.
Very.
He
interesting.
is still the president of the United States. He can make things happen.
Yep. And so everyone's like, wait a second, because that was a confusing statement. It's like the project's between Russia and Germany. U.S. has no deal in that project whatsoever.
Joe Biden's just at the bottom of the ocean, like stabbing it.
Straight up. And but things are like spooky things are happening because of this, right? We got
that's just huge implications on Germany.
Yep. Denmark saying it's hard to imagine this was accidental. The Polish prime minister said this is hard to believe. This was an act of sabotage. The former defense minister of Poland tweeted out saying, "Thank you, USA." Like this is some real crap going on, dude.
I said thank you. And which one blew up? Was it 1 or 2?
I think damage was mainly to 1, but as well 2 was affected, and so there was 3 blasts across. So it clearly wasn't just an earthquake shake.
The United States is good at controlled demolition, dog.
They are. They know what's up. So it was really odd that this is happening. So this leads us to Germany screwed this winter.
And it's fast approaching. And it gets cold.
Yes. And so they're saying they have about 90%, like they're ready. Like they might get through the winter. But like they have nothing to back themselves up. And then you also got the issue with what Switzerland was talking about a couple weeks ago, right? You hate your house above 19 degrees.
Jail time.
You're going to jail. So things are going to get ugly here very quickly. And I don't know. I'm curious because now obviously Ukraine, backed by NATO, is now, getting the upper hand on the U.S. on Russia. And they're starting to win that battle. Now, where do we go? This has been blowing up. I think if Russia had nothing to do with it, and this was, say, the U.S. is doing, I think nuclear war is next. Because this was the only thing Russia had to be like, just to hold it over NATO and Europe.
Yeah.
And now it's gone. Now it's like, now they definitely have nothing to lose.
So you think nuclear war between Russia and Ukraine?
Yep.
Because they might as well send it then.
Yep. Exactly.
They die or go out, like win or die trying.
Yep. And I hope I hope they don't. I hope that doesn't happen. That's going to screw everybody else up on Earth. But like, I just don't see. This is clearly an escalation. This isn't good. And we're going to feel it. I don't know what ways we're going to feel it.
And just this week, Putin said he's not afraid of using nuclear. But after this happened, I'm pretty sure, went on air to redact that statement.
Oh, did he?
I'm almost positive that Putin made a new statement saying that nuclear war is not on the table.
All right, let's clarify that.
Yeah.
Let's go with the...
So these are all within 14 hours. The one I saw was like a couple days ago. But he may have now once again said he would.
Yeah, I mean, Washington Post says, Putin says nuclear threat is no bluff. We should take him at his word. It was an opinion piece. But let's see what that top one was with the Atlantic. So Russia's nuclear threats are all Putin has left.
Oh my gosh. They don't want to see us win.
No.
Come on, Atlantic.
All right. So we going down here. All right.
Oh my gosh. They're hard to read, man.
These are real hard to read. Yeah, this is ridiculous. I'm not reading this. Let's go with it. Let's go the old back home CTV news. What you saying? Vladimir Putin's latest warning that he is ready to use nuclear weapons to defend Russia amid the war in Ukraine has made a troubling question much more urgent. Is the former KGB spy bluffing? Putin cautioned it was no bluff, and Western politicians, diplomats, and nuclear weapons experts are divided. Some say he could use one or more smaller tactical nuclear weapons to try to stave off military defeat, protect his presidency, scare off the West, or intimidate Kiev into capitulation. Putin's warning, which was followed by a more specific threat to use a nuclear weapon in Ukraine from an ally, might mean the Kremlin is considering an escalation after Russia annexes 4 Ukrainian regions, which only partly occupies. Russia's parliament is expected to declare the regions a part of Russia on October 4th. Once that happens, the way would be made clear from Moscow's viewpoint for a possible defensive strike if it felt the territory was under serious threat.
Interesting.
So it's still on the table. This doesn't make it any easier.
Nope.
And there's one last thing I want to point to that people think it's the U.S. And it was documented that the CIA had been warning Berlin of attacks on the pipeline as recent as this past summer.
Oh.
Attacks might happen. It's going to be us. And here we are, late September.
Wow.
It's going to be a wild time.
Wow. So why would they not prepare, I wonder? That leads me to not believe that one.
Yeah, I mean, let's pull up the article here. I'll send it.
But in the same breath, it's, hard to say.
Yeah, Philip's going to have a lot of work to cut out a lot of dead air on this episode tonight. But
I'm also curious to see the distance between the 2 explosions and in terms of how far away they were and if a submarine could cover that distance in a day. Because one was in the morning, one was in the night.
Yeah, it happened. Yeah.
And was it closer to Russia or to Germany?
It's a good question.
On the pipeline.
I'm curious if we can pull up the locations. They must have them.
The CIA is wildly intimidating to me.
Oh, dude, they're spooky.
They're spooky.
They don't answer to nobody. Let's get real.
So I want to know what it takes to become a CIA agent. Like, that must be like
it's a lot of work.
A lot of work. Mm-hmm. And how do you become so trusted?
Yeah. I couldn't.
Like, who have you sold your soul to?
You have to be single. There's no, you can't say a thing to your spouse.
How do you not?
Like, I would have a hard time doing that personally.
Yeah.
Like, holy smokes.
They probably think you work an entirely different job.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably have to tell your spouse you don't do that job.
Yeah, you have to lie to them. That's tough.
That's not a fun life.
No. Hey, I'm a teacher.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Why do you always wear black pants and a white shirt every day?
I'm Mormon.
Just an office job. When you...
Yeah, straight up. The CIA warned Berlin about possible attacks on gas pipelines this summer. So the U.S. intelligence agency had weeks ago warned Germany about possible attacks on the pipelines in the Baltic Sea. The German government received the CIA tip in summer. Spiegel reported, citing unnamed sources, adding that Berlin assumes a targeted attack on Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines. And this was written September 27th. So, iffy. That was written today.
Just yesterday.
Yeah. So, yesterday. So.
And could this also be, though, one of those fake news stories?
Well, it's Reuters. They are news guards that are certified.
Yeah.
But, yeah. We'll see.
Dude. Either way.
I mean, it has been public knowledge beforehand. I did see other articles that was
because
predated.
no matter what way you cut, slice this, dice this, Russia has lost that bargaining chip, regardless of who did it.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
they literally have nothing to lose.
Nope.
Because they're still warm this winter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like for our parents' generation, like I feel like, the Soviet Union has kind of always been a problem. Like Soviet Union was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
There was a Cold War with the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
And now there's is every generation going to go through something with
Russia?
With Russia?
Well, the thing is,
is this just like a cycle?
I'm not there's okay. I might be naive, but there's nothing about Russia that intimidates me.
Because all he goes to is nuclear.
Yeah, I'll go nuclear. This guy can't even conquer Ukraine. I get it. He was technically up against NATO. I understand. But, you can't even conquer the country next to you? I'm far more afraid of China than I am of Russia.
Yeah.
China's a much bigger player, has much more weapons at hand.
And money.
Yeah, money and all of our businesses over there.
Yeah, they can stop our supply to almost everything.
Yep. They can screw us all over.
They
scare me far more. And so with this whole Russia-Ukraine thing, it hasn't been good for Ukrainians, and I feel for them as a people. But in terms of the war not going our way, I guess our way, whatever that means, I haven't been concerned about it. I'm like, this is gonna I think I'm more interested in what happens when Russia loses.
Right.
And what happens with Putin and his presidency and all that. So
I wonder what it means for his presidency all the time. I'm like, could we see a Russia without Putin?
Will the CIA breach Russia and assassinate him? And will that lead the KGB to retaliate?
Yeah. And because I feel the CIA is not against things like that.
No, definitely not.
Not at all.
No, they'll do it. Make it look like an accident. Jeffrey Epstein him.
Right.
Straight up.
The world is not so picturesque, man.
No, man. It's there's a lot of stuff we don't know about. That's for sure. So